So if you got a FormD T1 version 2.1 and you're trying to set up a small form factor PC but you don't know where to begin, I got you covered in this video. Because I was trying to look for a video guide on how to assemble this. Couldn't find anything useful, so here you go. I think the first of all, I think you want to get started with the FormD T1 website. If you go to their assembly manual, there's this document, T1 assembly manual. If you open it up, there's this PDF and it has a bunch of instructions that will get you started. And first of all, you want to get started with the skeleton, and you see these the bottom plate, the top plates, and the sides. And you don't need to use them until at the very end, so I would just set them aside. And then we have, depending on the parts you're using, if you're using two fans to cool it, you need this bracket. But if you're using a liquid cooler, a radiator, right, you just need this shorter version of the bracket. But again, your setup will vary slightly depending on which parts you're using. So I think it makes sense for me to list what kind of parts I'm using. I am going with the Asus B850 for Ryzen 9 CPU, and I have the liquid cooler Kraken Plus 240. And also the graphic card is the prime version of 5080 RTX. And there is absolutely no room at all if we are trying to fit the thickness of this liquid cooling block there with the prime RTX 5080. So there's like only one screw slot that the so if you look at the case here, these two sides, they can only go one way, and there's also one on the bottom that can slide to the left and right to make space for either the CPU's, the motherboard side, or either the CPU side. So in my case, with the 5080 and this radiator block being quite thick, there's only one position that it will put in, it will stay in. So I will show you once I'm able to flip this over. And for the power supply, I'm using SF1000 from Corsair. I think 850 is probably enough, but I just went ahead with SF1000 because there's not a lot of difference in price when I bought it. And in terms of RAM, I'm going with G.Skill Flare X5, and mostly because it has a very low profile. And I already got the PCIe 5 NVMe installed under here, right there, as you can see. And in terms of the CPU mount, the motherboard had some kind of bar there across these two screws for Intel, and I had to also swap out this little bracket right here. This Intel bracket has a slightly different from this AMD version, so basically screw these screws in and put the bracket on this CPU block, cooler. Now I think if you follow the assembly guide on T1 FormD T1 website, I think you can pretty much get to this point with no issue. But this is where I struggle a little bit, because it doesn't, the assembly manual doesn't mention mounting this radiator and a liquid cooler, right? So this is where I struggle a little bit. And so since this block is so thick, you can't really fit it through any of the open spaces unless, so I had to remove this bar temporarily, and then now I put it back in, screw it back in. Now I'll show you how this goes on. So this radiator comes with two fans of this size, This is 25 millimeter and 120 millimeter size, right? But if you know from this FormD size, this 125 millimeter won't fit on this side of the motherboard, and so you have to get this fan at 15 millimeter slim fan. So I went with Noctua, and it is what you can see here. So the mounting will be a little bit of a challenge because when it goes on this case, this side will be floating, and it's basically this whole thing is basically held together by this side only. And one of the problems you will run into is that the screws that come with this radiator are this length only. So if you're trying to mount this slim fan, you're gonna need a shorter screw, and it has to be 8.5 millimeters shorter than what they give you. In my case, I 3D printed these little blocks, which are about 8.5 millimeters, right? So you just go on there like this, and I thought I was smart until I go into this side of the screw, where I'll show you goes against this little spacer right here. So everything else was all the other spots were fine. They are not blocked by anything, but that side was blocked. So then I was like, I didn't want to buy this. So basically I just put it on the vise and Dremel cut this side. So you can do that as well, or you can buy it. Not quite sure what the size of this one is. It's just a standard radiator size screw. Oh, and I almost forgot. Before you put anything in, you need to put this thing first. This is the power button on the side, because if you forgot to put it in, right here, this is the power button right there. So if you forgot to put it in, you gotta take everything apart and because it will be blocked by the graphic card. Now I want to talk about the spacing between the motherboard and the graphic card, because as you can see this right here. So included in the FormD T1 bag is these little spacers with small, I would say small, medium, large, right? So the space I got for my Prime 5080 with this Kraken liquid cooler, I got one small, one large, and one medium. I forgot one more thing. Back to the radiator, because the fans have they can have the cables coming out of this side, right? So like I tried it on the side, either side, it won't work because it will be blocked by this bar, and the fan has this size, block. So just make sure that when you're mounting the fans, these ports should be facing to either side of the top and the bottom of the radiator, but not to the side, because they will be blocked by this bar. And how does this radiator go on? As you can see this right here, you see the two screws right here, 1, 2, this bar, it will actually flip and it will mount onto these two holes, right there, 1, 2, 1, 2. So the whole radiator is held up together by this two area, and then this the thicker 25 millimeter, it will just be hanging without any support. All right, let me show you what I mean. Let's go ahead and mount this thing. I'm gonna flip this guy right there, put this on outside. Side. there you go. I think it's just the thick fan is touching the motherboard a little bit, but once we screwed it on, we should be good. All right, so I just finished putting the screws on, so this radiator is not going anywhere. But as you can see here, if you have this plug on the side, right, there's absolutely no room big enough for that plug to go, so you have to put it on the side, on this side, and also on this side. Also, I made the mistake of changing the bracket to AMD, and this plastic cover is for Intel, so I couldn't, put it back on, so I have to tape it back up because it has some thermal paste there already. So if you're watching this video, maybe keep that Intel bracket until you're ready to put it on. All right, I'm gonna flip the case and let's see the other side, and we're gonna talk about the GPU. Oh, my bad. One more. So in all the forums that I read, right, the GPU is pulling the air in, and also this CPU, I mean, the power supply is also pulling the air into the case. So we have to pull the air out using the radiator. So in this setup, these two fans are in exhaust mode, meaning the air is going out away from the case. And if there is an arrow somewhere, at least on the kind of hidden now, but there's an arrow on the Noctua fan showing the direction of the airflow. But yeah, this is the air flowing away, and I'm kind of not too happy with how tight this fan, how close this fan is to the motherboard. I mean, wait, is it still spinning? Fuck, hold on. Oh, it's not spinning very freely. I think it's touching the back of the radiator. I have to loosen these screws a little bit, I think, because it was spinning freely before. But you can see how tight it is. I have to see if I need to take this fan out, because I mean, look at the connections. The wires are too damn close to the fans. Yeah, let's see. It's gonna be, the cable management's gonna be a nightmare. All right, so this is what the GPUs and the motherboard split look like, right? On the screw side, I am screwed into the second hole, right? But then the top on the bar. So this configuration gives me enough space for the block for my liquid cooler, Kraken 240 Plus, and also enough space for my RTX 5080 Prime on this side. And so I'm just using the included PCIe 4 riser. I didn't pay extra for the PCIe 5 because I don't need it. So this right here, it will be, if you just decide to go with the stock options, you are going to be screwing this one right there and this one screw right there, and basically your whole graphic card will be mounted on those two screws. And then in addition to that, there's a little slot, yeah, let me see, right there. This is gonna be screwed in, and on your graphic card, this, you're gonna screw in this little plate right there using those two screws, and this screw will go into that slot. So if you really think about it, this there's one screw, and then the PCB is held together by the three screws, and your heavy ass graphic card will be held together by those 3 points, and it will be, I mean, I mounted it before. It's just like wobbling back and forth, not very stable. So to solve that, you can use the travel kit, right? Which is like $75 from FormD T1, and it's gonna take another, I don't know, 3 more months for me to track it on Discord. So, but there is eBay, Etsy seller with the 3D printed version. You can just search for 5080 FormD T1 travel kit on Etsy, and it should show up. And this is what it looks like. This is a 3D printed version. It comes from Sweden. So yeah, it took me about a week to get it. So if you're trying to set up this case, right, as quickly as possible, you want to order this as soon as possible. And with this, it also comes with this on the other side of the CPU. So this thing will go on this side, and the CPU, I mean the GPU has, you see the 3 holes there. It just goes on there, and then it will mount securely on that end. And right here on the GPU, I will take out all of these, the whole entire bracket, and then basically screw this on. So you know, it's like fixed on this side and also this side, and it won't go anywhere. And also, but if you use these two mounting thing, trouble kit on either side, then you won't need to screw in these 2 holes anymore. This thing just freely plug in. It won't be in position to fixed anymore. Oh, and if you check right here, you know, the 3D printed spacer is not nothing's touching on this side, but then this screw right here, it won't fit because I had to cut it because this spacer is in the way, and there really isn't any room to move left and right because you see the motherboard is already touching the fan. All right, a quick extra thing that I want to mention, because if you want to make use of this NVMe slot in the back right there, there's an NVMe slot right there. This is gonna be a bit of a problem because as you can see, this thing right here, the screw here, if you use the original stock bracket for the GPU, or if you use this 3D printed version from Sweden, they use the same screw to hold the GPU as close as possible to the motherboard. So if you have an NVMe drive with a heatsink, it's not gonna fit there at all. So there's very little space in between, and I don't have any plans to use an NVMe drive in there, but my motherboard comes with 2.5 gigabyte LAN, but I am planning to set up a 10 gigabyte network, LAN inside my house so that I can, you know, back up files really quickly. I'm also trying to build a 10 gigabyte NAS. So I'm trying to use those NVMe port and PCI lanes to set up a controller like this right here, a 10 gigabyte card right there, 10 gigabyte network card. So I was planning to plug this in, but as you can see, this is quite thick. It's not enough. There's like taking up a lot of space. It didn't fit at all. So I had to get this one. So this thing will plug in. This NVMe will plug into the back of this thing, and so then this will be free to go. Yeah, but of course there's no space left in the case for this thing. So what I'm plan to do is that I will be using this case in vertical format. So I'm gonna build a wooden base, and on the wooden base I will have a 3D printed case for the 10 GB, and also possibly I will have a USB port on there as well, coming out from the motherboard itself, so I can plug in USB-Cs and a 10 GB network. Oh, I just found the business card for the guy that makes this. This is the guy, but I think he has a different name on Etsy. Yeah, but just search for FormD T1 5080 Prime Trouble Kit and it should show up. And yes, I asked him if he has STL files, because I wanted to print it myself. I can also put the threaded inserts right here with a soldering iron, but he doesn't sell the STL version, so you're gonna have to order this ahead of time. All right, last thing I would mention is that if you're using SF something from Corsair, once you have the PSU mounted, the power supply goes in this direction, and the cable that comes with the case, it's the right angle, it's in the wrong freaking direction, right? So it goes like this, but then this side of this port, it needs to go all the way onto this side. So this cable is too short to route any other way except go through the middle, so it has to come back this way. So it would be nice if if you can get a cable. I think this is about maybe 18 inches in length estimate. So it needs to go, if you can get a cable, right angle cable going the other way, yeah, that will be good. So right now I'm not gonna spend any money on this. I'm just gonna try to zip tie it this way. I don't like it, but it is what it is. All right, so let me recap. What extra things do you need if you are trying to set up a FormD T1 with liquid cooling and RTX 5080 or 5070 Ti? So you're gonna need a fan. You're gonna need a fan of 15 millimeter thickness, because it won't fit any other way. There's no space. You can put two 15 millimeters if you want, but that will not be as good in terms of airflow. And also, in order for you to mount the 15 millimeter, you need a shorter screw like this, and you need a Dremel to cut it up, because the Kraken 240 Plus doesn't come with the screws for 15 millimeter. Now this is optional, but I would highly recommend it. It's the GPU trouble kit. You can either buy the metal version from FormD T1 and pay $75, or pay about, I think I paid $35 for this one. It's just 3D printed, come from Sweden. Takes about a week for me to receive it in from Sweden to Washington DC area. I would say this is kind of necessary because your graphic card is so big and the 3 mounting points are not strong enough for the weight is strong enough to support the weight of the GPU. This bracket right here in the back and this right here in the front, it will stabilize your GPU. Okay, the last, it's right now, it's a pain, but I'm gonna have to wire this up. And you can have a customized version of shorter cables between this power supply and your motherboard, but I'm not going to invest any more money in it. I'm just going to use the cables that comes with the power supply. Okay, we're going to speed this up.